This week, we're brought to you by our friends at Outer Loop and their new game, Dosa Divas. I love talking with the team last year at Giant Bomb at night during Summer Game Fest. You might remember Dan trying to teach that team how to cook, maybe smashing Doritos in there. Well, now the team has gotten over whatever ailed them with that to deliver the game. Their new game, Dosa Divas, is an RPG where you play as two cool sisters who pilot a mech that cooks tasty food that packs a punch during combat. It is out now on Steam and the big consoles. It's a game that feels like you made a stew with parts of Octopath Traveler, Cooking Mama, and Super Mario RPG. Check out the Steam page, give it a wish list, and buy it if it looks like your speed. The game is funded by Outer Sloth, the fine folks who run Among Us. And as part of that publishing deal, the team gets a healthy part of the sales of each copy sold directly to them right from the get-go before making their budget back. So your support does mean a lot to the dev team. Again, that's Dosa Divas, out now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from giantbomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about getting the 2024 Game of the Year band back together and Capcom nerfing cousin marriage. It's going to be a good one because we have Jan Ochoa on the show. Jan, how are you doing?
I don't know what that means, Grubb.
Nobody does.
All right, cool. That's an interesting way to hear about the headlines today.
That's how it goes sometimes. It's just they're doing their thing. Hey, good news, they barely changed anything. We'll talk about it. But how you been, Jan?
I just feel like fist fighting a whole medical organization due to their ineptitude in handling patients and just dumping them outside.
America's greatest pastime.
Exactly.
That's apple pie, baseball, taxes, hating the medical infrastructure we have here. Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm trying my hardest, Grubb, not to hate people at the various levels of this ladder, because I understand they're beholden and they're
agents in the matrix, right? Yeah,
exactly.
They're just, right.
Their hands are tied. But perhaps when, they know information and they see a 4'11" older Filipino woman desperately waiting for answers, maybe you fucking inform her and you don't just wait around there looking on your phone, you fucking idiot. Sorry.
Yep. It's boy, any sort of interaction I have with it is like, we've just messed up and we don't know how to clean ourselves up. We've covered ourselves in shit as America and are looking at it, be like, well, we can't do anything about this. It's great stuff. I love it.
It's fantastic, Grubb.
Yep, it's good stuff. I played some Tomodachi Life. Here's the thing. Emmy was so excited.
Yes.
She literally could not sleep, and I went to go check on her, and it was like, I went to check, and she's like, so how long till it's out? I'm like, that doesn't matter. You have to go to sleep. And then I checked on her, and it was midnight, and she was still up. So I went in there real quick and showed her, and she made one more character. And immediately she's just like, oh, I get it. Like, this is going to be everything. I could tell that, like, it really fits into her way of playing games, which, as someone who's like played games a certain way for a long time, Jan, the way that kids play games where it's about play. It's not necessarily about accomplishing something in the game or like getting to the end. It's about play. It's like, hey, we are going to come up with characters and tell ourselves stories. Tomodachi Life might be the perfect video game. It's crazy how well it fits with their brains.
I'm curious if this is going to be for younger gamers like the gimmicks, right? If this is going to wind up being an on-ramp to something like The Sims. And I know The Sims isn't quite doing like the curated scenes and tableaus that Tomodachi Life is doing, right? And you kind of have to make more of your own fun. But I wonder if like the gimmicks will wind up wanting more modularity with the worlds that they can create and more specifics than something like Tomodachi Life is able to do. That being said, folks, the Tomodachi Life quick look for Living the Dream is out now. Grubb, Dan, and I have a fantastic time visiting Kayfabe Island and learning that apparently, Grubb, dogs love lobster rolls.
They really, really do. God, what a moment. Go check that out, everybody. It's on the website right now. Speaking of the website, let's explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. We're independent games media. We need your support to keep making things happen over here. Go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member, gets you ad-free versions of our shows, gets you early access to a lot of other stuff, and it gets you exclusive access to stuff like 9 Lives of Mr. Mistopheles. It's going to get you Portal Pals. It's going to get you new Grub Snacks Premium. I'm probably going to record today. So make it happen and get that satisfaction of knowing that you're supporting independent games media. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown development team reportedly reunites, set to pitch new ideas to Ubisoft. This is from Alex Hopley at Game Reactor. We're getting the band back together. Well, maybe we are, as it's believed that the development team behind Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, which was previously disbanded to go work on other titles at Ubisoft, like Assassin's Creed, is being allowed to reform at the company. In a now deleted post on Blue Sky, French journalist Gauthier Gatos Andres claimed that Ubisoft has brought the development team back together and is letting them pitch new ideas once more. Considering the post is now deleted on Blue Sky, it may be the case that something is amiss with Gautos's reporting, so keep your salt shakers handy for this one. However, this might be a glimmer of hope in Prince of Persia's future after the cancellation of the Sands of Time remake. It did seem like the franchise was all but dead and buried. However, if the Lost Crown developers are keen on making some sort of sequel to the game, which brought in millions of players, it's possible it will have a strong audience already. That is one of the things that did happen here, Jan, is since they seemingly disbanded this team, or did disband this team, it does seem like Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown specifically, has continued to pile on more players as word of mouth like slowly spread, and then the price came way down.
Yeah,
it's been available for as low as $10. People can get it now for like $20 to $30, and that includes physically at a lot of places. At that price, it's like the easiest recommendation in the world. And then it does seem like people are taking that up and picking up this game. So maybe the mathematics have changed behind it since they disbanded the team. And they're like, you know what? We were wrong. We see now how this can build up slowly. And maybe we can take that momentum and do something with a sequel. What do you think?
I am a little bit hesitant about this news, Grubb. I'm happy that the team may possibly be getting back together because they they developed a fantastic game. It was our game of the year 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it has to be 2024, right? And I wrote that here, but I'm not sure if that's exactly right.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I think so.
Year. But it deservedly won our game of the year because I feel like it captured all of our attention. And this whole website is so dang Metroidvania pilled that, of course, that game, and it also helped that it was a fantastic game.
It was fantastic.
The part that makes me hesitant, Grubb, is that this is still falling underneath the Ubisoft umbrella. And if Ubisoft made that decision to spread out that team, potentially cut some of those developers out of the company and let them go, I'm not super confident that Ubisoft is going to follow through and even listen or entertain some of these ideas, especially with how we've seen Ubisoft handle various other projects, specifically Prince of Persia projects.
Yeah, and it's maybe things did change, and they're like, okay, yeah, we would be more happy with a game where we can make it at a certain budgetary level, and then we put it out, and over the next couple of years, it gets to 1 to 2 million copies sold. And maybe in this moment, they're like, thumbs up, that sounds awesome. But we know how fickle these companies are. And it feels like 3 months from now, that will be the kind of thing where you bring that back into the boardroom and it becomes poison to the people sitting there as they're like, no, it has to be the biggest swings ever. We're back on that bandwagon.
It's an insane line of thinking to not realize, if we give something the proper amount of runway and then kind of course correct in terms of price, then we can eventually make up for that. And also just having Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown has to be a smaller budget title compared to the other things that Ubisoft has been trying to do, right?
Right. Yes, all of those ones that ran into like brick walls for whatever reason, whether that's coming out to zero acclaim and zero notice, or whether it's like failing in development. It's like, yeah, all those projects probably were bigger, more complicated. And then do they really have that much of a higher ceiling? Maybe they do. 2D games, like a Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, always seem like they're fighting an uphill battle these days. But this one, over time, just seems like it won that battle, and it's probably a story they can tell right now internally at Ubisoft to say, look, we have the ones that we know we're going to make. We have our Assassin's Creeds, our Far Cries, a handful of other things. We know we're going to keep making those. We do have this massive development team of 10,000 plus people across the world. We should be like diversifying somewhat. What else can work? And it's like, okay, so this doesn't have the highest ceiling, but I think you can prove it does work. And so can you just make the math, like set out with a mathematical equation that works from the beginning? If we spend this much time with this many people and it does X amount of sales, we will, no matter what, be happy. The rest of what's happening at Ubisoft be damned. And it's like, yeah, that like cool. That's maybe the way this whole thing should work. And it feels like a lot of the times it doesn't, right?
It doesn't make sense to me, Grubb, because it feels like at this point, at this juncture, with how video game development and funding for it is the same. It feels like the same cost analysis of them dumping millions and millions of man hours and dollars into a game, a live service game that is ultimately going to get canceled or get the rug pulled from underneath it a month, maybe 2 months after launch, versus a single player game or something smaller in scope that will eventually make up for it. And like you said, eventually sell 1-2 million copies. I think part of the problem also with Ubisoft is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe The Lost Crown launched on Steam, right? It was on...
Was that I think that might be right. Yeah, that sounds right, Jan.
I think it was through whatever Ubisoft launcher they had. So again, they're like shooting themselves in the foot here by not putting it out on the biggest storefront on PCs.
Yes. And we've seen that happen a bunch of times now where a game gets hurt by not doing that. And why would this be any different? In fact, this might be the exact kind of game that would receive the most amount of damage from not being on Steam at launch.
And I feel like with, other 2D games like God of War, Sons of Sparta, not necessarily sticking and landing with a lot of folks, that is an opportunity to make a renewed push of like, hey, this didn't land for a lot of people, but this game for sure did. And if you missed it, it's on sale.
And it's, there's always the possibility that, it says they're going to start pitching Ubisoft new ideas. Maybe it won't be a Prince of Persia, but I just think you should let this team stick to what they're strongest at, and you can make more games in this style. I mean, I think someone in chat must have said this because I saw 2D Splinter Cell and I didn't like read the rest because it was going by fast and we were having a conversation, Jan. But I think they must have been getting at a 2D Splinter Cell Metroidvania in the style of Shadow Complex or something like that.
Sure.
That would be great as well. I mean, you can really do a lot of fun stuff there with like path traced, ray traced lighting in a 2D environment and have that be like a physical element that you could play around with. And in a 2D game, it's like, oh, you can really control that in a way where performance wouldn't be such a big headache, and you get that character come back, and then it's another new Metroidvania game, which will just feel awesome. So yeah, they could do something like that, and I would welcome it.
Mark of the Ninja is a good blueprint to base a 2D stealth game off of. I saw someone mention it in chat there, but you could apply that not only to Splinter Cell, but they won't stop making Assassin's Creed games, Grubb. Yeah. A 2D Assassin's Creed game that kind of relies more on the stealth aspect, I think would do well.
I think that'd be cool. Yes, absolutely. An Assassin's Creed game that is just Mark of the Ninja would be exactly what the doctor ordered for something for a 2D game like that. Absolutely. All right. There's always the possibility that this is a diversion news that got put out there to distract from other Ubisoft news, like Ubisoft settles with developers who were laid off after unionizing. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. Ubisoft Halifax would have been the French publisher's first unionized studio in North America if it hadn't been immediately shut down after developers there organized. Months later, Halifax workers have finally secured a settlement as Ubisoft moves forward with the cost-cutting measures across the rest of the company. 61 union members voted overwhelmingly for the deal. CWA Canada announced earlier this week the terms of the settlement will remain confidential, but impacted developers said that despite a tough negotiation, Ubisoft respected the union, quote unquote, and acted in good faith, which I'm sure were the contracted terms that they have to say that. It came as a surprise to all of us and to the frontline managers as we were in the middle of many ongoing and new projects and doing great work, former Ubisoft Halifax employee John Huffman said in a statement. We are extremely grateful to our union for negotiating this package for us. Ubisoft, kind of just putting a period on this, but boy, is what I would say to this, Jan, is every time we think a company in the video game industry might be union busting, I bet we're right. And we were right in this case. This is a settlement. I bet part of the settlement is no agreement of wrongdoing. So I'll still say alleged to cover ourselves legally. But you settled, you pay them a bunch of money so that you can make this go away, because you would probably have to owe more money if you actually went to court and would cost you more. So yeah, union busting at Ubisoft, very likely, right?
Yeah, especially after like hearing the story, Grubb, and going through these points here. If it does feel fishy, folks at home, it probably is a little bit, primarily because the employees let go in whatever settlement probably have to, not necessarily a non-disparaging agreement, but play nice, I guess, to at least get some type of kickback rather than just straight up getting let go. I don't know what to do, Grubb, because, like, of course, I want these developers to unionize. I think wrestlers should also unionize while we're at it. But the powers that be up top are just going to keep swinging their hammer and trying to squash any of these organizations under, the guise of budget cuts or whatever else.
Yep. We see these companies constantly looking for ways to make their bottom line look better, and that has led them back to cost cutting over and over and over again. So the urge to do this isn't going to go away. But Ubisoft does need to figure their shit out so they can either sell the company to someone who knows what to do with it, or they start putting out games that people are buying. The last we heard from them, as they led into this series of layoffs, 1 month after another, where all these studios were seeing cuts. Right before that, it was a bunch of games are coming very soon, and then no, actually, we're delaying all of our games except for 6 that we're just canceling outright. We're sort of on the other side of that a little bit now, it seems like, where maybe this Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remake or remaster, whatever it's going to be, is going to come soon. And now there's word that they're getting the Prince of Persia Lost Crown team back together. Do you think there's a chance that they are on a path forward, or is it just the dust has settled from their lowest moment and we're just waiting for the next lowest moment? Because I really don't know where to put my finger on the pulse with Ubisoft at all right now.
Ubisoft is such an outlier with all of this, Grubb, that I don't know which way they're going to move forward. Nothing is particularly changed with management at the tippy top. So I don't have much confidence that they're going to stick to their guns, because it feels like they've just dropped them all on the floor and don't know which one to pick up first.
Yes, very much feels that way. And it's my guess is they are just grasping at something, and that's what stuff like this Prince of Persia thing is. And we are going to hear a very different tone in 6 months as they continue to just to scramble. So when you said you were hesitant out of the gate with that previous story, that's where I settle as well on this, where there's just no reason to have faith that this company is going to figure things out in this moment.
And who's to say, Grubb, that they are just trying to build whatever positive sentiment that they can, that they're going to wind up trying to sell the company and thin out the company within the next 6 months.
All right, we should move on. Let's get to this next story, which is a continuation from something we talked about on the show yesterday. Starfield Nintendo Switch 2 rating has now appeared as well. This is from Nintendo Everything. The strongest evidence yet of Starfield coming to Nintendo Switch 2 has come to light following a new rating discovery. Over in Taiwan, a new entry was just added for the game on Nintendo's console. The classification doesn't include any notable information outside of that, and it's unclear when the port would release. Previous rumors did say the Starfield would be coming to Switch 2, and then it was like, oh, is it actually going to happen? And now this is here alongside Jan. I talked about it on the show yesterday. Several other Nintendo Switch 2 ports that have shown up at ratings agencies around the world. That is on top of two first-party Nintendo Switch games that got rated by the ESRB or re-rated in the last couple of weeks, and that was Splatoon Raiders, and I can't remember the other one, but the upcoming game. I know I'm trying to place it. I'll look it up here in a second. But point being, a lot of stuff lying in wait for the Switch 2, whether it is many of these third-party ports from other consoles and the PC. It's first-party games that we know are coming, and then the first-party games that have been rumored to be announced, Star Fox, Ocarina of Time. So more evidence of, like, at the very least, they do have a roster of games that they could use to make a Nintendo Direct. One is likely coming soon.
I believe Fire Emblem was the other game, Grubb.
That's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. I am not the target audience specifically for Starfield, let alone Starfield on the Switch 2.
Switch 2, sure.
And we've reported this week about the performance and how many people have been upset with the performance of the Starfield port on the PS5. So much so that Sony's actually offering refunds for the game.
Something they don't normally do, yeah.
I can't imagine that Starfield on the Switch 2 is going to be the way that anyone should play this game, if you are at all curious. And I can't imagine that any of the news coming out of the Starfield port from the PS5 will instill any confidence in anyone that is still curious about checking it out and was perhaps possibly waiting for a Switch 2 port.
I mean, I think that it's certainly the biggest thing about this story specifically. All these other games coming to Switch 2 getting announced. The thing with Starfield is, this feels like still it would be an impossible port. To even come to the Switch 2, just based on how the game runs on these other consoles. Now, as always, the Switch 2 does have better built-in, baked-in ray tracing hardware, and there might be some ray trace lighting in Starfield that would help with. But my understanding was always that the CPU side of things is what was really causing problems with Starfield. It's simulating so many things that's causing problems across the board, including on PC. And the Switch 2, while a relatively modern CPU, it's not like super modern. So isn't that going to struggle? And my guess here would be the safe thing to assume is, yes, this is going to have problems like all these other Bethesda games have had over the last several years, obviously.
But Bethesda games having problems from decades ago to this day, Grubb. Some that perhaps mess up a whole recording because they refuse to be captured properly. Who can say?
Who could say? Nothing's happening on that show anyhow. He's untouchable.
Just a bunch of goofballs. 9 Lives of Mr. Mustafa Felice for folks at home. If you're not a premium member, I suggest you sign up. Go check that show out. If you ever wanted to get harassed by Jeff Grubb and I, that's the show to live
that's
vicariously through. I just don't know what is Bethesda doing, Grubb. They don't want to make a new Fallout. Or maybe they do want to make a new Fallout.
They're not,
but they're not exactly. Elder Scrolls, whatever number we're up to, is never going to come out, and then Todd is lost in space. Part of me feels like they jammed away at this port to there's renewed interest in space because of the Artemis Tube team. Let's launch our game or relaunch our game, and it's unfortunately had very poor performance on the PS5.
Yeah, I keep waiting to see if Starfield is going to have one of those it's back moments like a No Man's Sky's had so many times, and every opportunity with that first round of DLC, it's like, no, people seem to hate this more than base Starfield, and with these ports, it's like, no, people are having a terrible experience with this, and that is the takeaway here. If there's positivity underneath the surface there, I'm not hearing about it because it's getting buried by the reaction to the performance. All right, let's do this story. 44% of games industry professionals have considered leaving the industry as a result of redundancies. This is from Sophie McAvoy at GI.biz. A survey from games recruitment firm Skill Search has found that overall, 44% of respondents have considered leaving the industry due to redundancies. In the UK, 76% said that they will be or are considering job hunting outside of the industry in 2026. The annual salary and satisfaction survey collected responses from 1,000 respondents across the UK, Europe, North America, APAC, and MENA regions between November 12th, 2025 and February 2024. 22% of respondents had been made redundant in the past year, and 12% said they had been made redundant more than 12 months ago. The leading causes of redundancies were reduced investment in investor funding, budget cuts, and a lack of projects. So just overall, less money in the space, which I think we've kind of been feeling over and over and over again. That has led, as the headline says here, Jan, people to be like, hey, why do I keep trying to get a game in this industry? I have skills that could work elsewhere. I could go work in finance or banking. And, that's, hey, we have so many games coming out. It's not a problem. It's not a problem right now. In a couple of years is when this begins to rear its ugly head, where there are no like senior leaders left in the space. And games that were already mismanaged are going to be even more mismanaged going forward, right?
100%, Grubb. It's depressing to read this news. I mean, I could already tell because we have acquaintances out there that have had to leave the industry outright just because it's impossible to get another job, or it is like such a uphill battle, if not straight up vertical climb, to even like get your own studio going or to stick around at a AAA place. And I feel like this also applies not just to the development side, the publishing side, but also to the PR side, in the media side that we occupy, where we are quickly losing ground to stand on. And we are just nervously looking around of like, y'all okay? You're okay? Okay, cool. Let's keep weathering it out together. And it's just such a bummer because there is so much talent being lost that could potentially make whatever runaway success that these AAA publishers are trying to chase.
Yeah, and it's as we stay in these spaces as consumers on the other side of it, these companies that felt like, hey, we charted out growth this direction and now our growth is way below that. How do we close that gap? And it's like, I don't know, motherfucker, that's your problem, not mine. And they're like, well, hold my beer. We'll make it your problem. Here is another set of price increases after the last set of price increases, which were a great follow-up to the previous price increases. And it's not stopping. They have every excuse to keep it going. They can just keep saying fuel prices have gone up. It's like, yeah, we know we will be paying the most because that's happening. And you as a company, I get it. You're going to be paying more as well. You're going to pass that on to us. We don't get to pass that on to anybody. So it's going to just keep coming and it's going to keep getting worse and worse. And so we're going to have sort of this resentment to this industry. And we will be looking for every way to save a dollar and spend less on games and maybe play more free stuff or maybe do other things entirely. Get miserable and doom scroll on social media because that's presented as this free thing as opposed to spending $70 on a game that's only 10 hours or whatever. And so people begin to shut down and it's going to spiral a little bit. I don't know. This industry does all right through moments like this, but I do not think we're necessarily at a bottom for the way, like how bad things could get. But I don't know. I'm always pessimistic about these things, Jan. How do you sort of see through this fog?
I am kind of with you, Grubb, because talking about people leaving the industry, like that's also not just ideas, but that's also institutional knowledge, right? Of like folks that know how to use a specific engine or people that know how to wrangle and manage and produce a game or manage a team. And all that is just going out the window because we have to appease whatever shareholders want. And it's just a big bummer that and I think it's been Microsoft's CEO that has highlighted short form video as a major competitor. And Grubb, it's because doom scrolling is free for the most part.
Yes, and it's like instant dopamine and all this other stuff, and it's just like, yeah, people are in that. It's shifted into that gear right now. because we're defending ourselves from spending money. We are like building this protective shell, this callus against that. And these companies are trying to break through, and that also means the people who are still spending money are going to get nickel and dimed even more as these companies say, like I think it was the PlayStation CEO that's like, hey, we'll just make more money from the same people. And that means prices go up on everything.
And the wild part, Grubb, is like hearing, I think it was in the story you just read, but like that there's not enough money to go around, when I don't find that to be true, because these people at the tippy top still have so much freaking money, Grubb. Like
so much.
Tim Sweeney, with those recent layoffs at Epic, insane.
Think about all those WB studios and David Zaslav's golden handcuffs that are like $1 billion that he's going to get for fucking running that company into the ground. It's crazy.
It's insane, and I don't know how we and I'm just going to lump us into the consumer side. I don't know how we are able to hold anyone accountable when they just keep getting away with it.
Yeah, and then they're going to move on to the next thing and get a promotion every single time. They just fail upward over and over again. It's a club, and none of us are a part of it. All right, let's go to a break. We have plenty of other headlines to talk about, including funner topics like that Street Fighter 6 movie trailer that I had a lot of fun with. We're going to go to this break. It is a new trailer for the launch of Dosa Divas. You can catch this game right now. Be sure to do so. You can get it on Steam. You can go ahead and wishlist if you're not ready to buy right now, but go check out the trailer for yourself right now.
What are you going to make?
I'll give you one guess.
Hello. Look around. Nobody wants to cook anymore. They want convenience. I won.
Hey, cooking mamas! I have that part. Check it out.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Watch out!
Oh no. The ones who gave us life are gone.
Do you not care? Do you even have a job right now?
Hey!
Bring her out.
The tune listening, goddess.
We're back with Game Mess Mornings. That's Jan Ochoa. I'm Jeff Grubb. We're going to continue on now with the headlines, starting with Xbox CCO details unified approach for the next-gen hit Project Helix console. This is from Sophie McAvoy at GI.biz. Xbox's first-party studios will collaborate closely with its hardware team as the company develops its next-generation console. On the official Xbox podcast, CCO Matt Booty outlined the company's unified approach to Project Helix and emphasized early involvement from publishing and development teams. One of the really cool things about us, blah, blah, blah. Basically, he just says that the publishing and game development side are going to work with the hardware side. It is a pretty old story at this point, right? And he even says that we've always done that. So really what I'm getting at here with this story, Jan, is we keep hearing about Project Helix, and we hear how it's different, that it's going to be a PC and the console experience put together, but a PC like underneath everything. And then it's like, that sounds very different. And then all of the language that they use beyond that is to set it up very much like this is just another Xbox. And I wonder, it's like, do you think that is a thoughtful approach? Like they're doing that because at the end of the day, this is going to feel like another Xbox? Or are they doing that because that's the playbook they have and they don't really understand how to communicate what this thing is yet?
I feel like it's more of the latter, that they don't know how to communicate this because they themselves don't quite know what they're making at this point, because they don't know. I feel like they've prompted whatever AI the Microsoft is using too much to that they have so much confusion as to they don't know which masters to serve, Grubb, because I am very curious what it looks like on the ground floor for someone that is still waving the Xbox console flag. Like, what does that look like for you? What do you want from a next gen console, right? Other than Xbox exclusives, potentially, like, and more bang for your buck. What do you want? And the thing is, what the console player wants, I don't think people at the tippy top at Microsoft are going or interested in delivering on that.
I mean, I think they're interested in using the interest in it to like keep a strong link between them and their like remaining player base. But I think you're right that is not the real motivating factor for them. That is not really what they're after. But they're not sure how to like make those things meet up. Like, speaking of bringing to unifying two sides of a thing. Like, can we unify at Xbox this desire to move on to the future of what our ecosystem can be, while speaking to an audience that very much wants the ecosystem to continue to be the thing they've already put a lot of money into. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, you're not going to be able to figure that out. That is going to be challenging, and that is why we keep getting comments like this that just feel like, what are you trying to say about this Project Helix? Again, like the pitch is, it is going to be more of a PC than ever before, and obviously the last several boxes from them have been x86 PCs at their heart with a Windows core and all this stuff. Sure, yeah, that a kernel in there that is the same as the Windows kernel. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the Windows operating system being foundational here to the point where you can install Steam, you can install the Epic Games Store, and that will be very different from a console we've had before. So how should we think of when we boot the thing up? Like, what am I going to see? Am I going to see Xbox first? Am I still buying games primarily through Xbox? Are there Xbox console exclusives that won't work on other PCs? Like, it just doesn't seem like that's in the cards, but they aren't ready to talk about any of that, I don't think.
No, I think also it's just such a weird statement that's really a non-statement from Matt Booty of like, yes, okay, cool. This is how I have assumed things have been done for forever now.
Yes.
Thanks for clarifying it, I guess, dog. The only thing that just popped up in my head, Grubb, that may be potentially appealing is if they try and pull the rug from underneath Valve and make their own equivalent of like a Steam machine that could run the Epic Games Store, that could potentially run Steam OS, or let you like backdoor install it in a way. However, part of me is just concerned that if and when this comes out, Project Helix, it's gonna be riddled with various miscellaneous Microsoft products that you don't need, like Teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very strong chance that will be exactly the case. Yeah, they just won't take that stuff out. At the very least, it's going to be riddled with Microsoft design, and that might be enough of a problem, because that was a problem with the Xbox Roger Ally handheld.
Yeah.
It's not such a problem that thing is unusable, of course, but it is less elegant than you would expect from what is supposed to just be a dedicated gaming device. And now Microsoft continue to say they want to get that stuff right. But they've said that before and for a long time now, and we'll see.
Going back to very, very early into the show, Grubb, where you're talking about how the gimmicks, your kids really resonate with something like Tomodachi Life because it is a method of play, right? They're just playing with it. I feels like at Microsoft and other places, the vision is so blurry now that they forget that is one of the primary objectives, is to get people to play things rather than to just spend money.
Yes. I mean, they're a platform company, and they look at everything through the lens of platforms and ecosystems, and that becomes their product first, and the games become a secondary thought.
I so desperately wish these tech CEOs would have a Ratatouille moment where their hearts are cured and they remember, the love of the game, literally the game. But I don't think any amount of rats cooking food for them will solve that.
Unfortunately. That's the biggest fantasy of Dickinson is a billionaire, the equivalent of a billionaire learning a lesson. That's not going to happen. All right, let's keep going here. I'll just read it. Headline writing is a lost art, everybody. Street Fighter 6's long-awaited Incest nerf is here and does basically nothing. Street. I think this is from. I have to assume this is from Kotaku. I didn't write it down. But
okay, do you think it's from Kenneth? Is why
I'm pretty sure it's from Kenneth. Yes, shouts out to Kenneth Shepard. At the very least, I know it's that Kotaku headline writing team, and they always crush it. Street Fighter 6 has been dealing with a problem of its own making for about a month now, after it put fan favorite fighter Alex in an incestuous relationship with his second cousin / adopted sister Patricia. They just doubled up the incest. Much to the dismay of longtime fans, Capcom said it would be addressing, quote, misleading text in Alex's story that might have led to all the discomfort, and even released a short story trying to cover its decades-old tracks. Now the long-awaited patch is out now, and it does absolutely nothing. The patch notes don't get into the specifics, as they merely say that the text of Alex's world story segments have been adjusted. But looking at the game itself, it seems that the change is to one line of dialogue in which Alex tells the player about growing up with Tom, his first cousin once removed, and the father of his future bride, Patricia. In the original version, Alex explicitly tells players that Tom is his late mother's cousin, which would make his daughter, Patricia, Alex's second cousin. How could Capcom possibly hope to, quote, fix this whole thing with years of established backstory establishing that Alex and Patricia are blood related? It can't, and it barely tries. Yeah, okay, so this is how you do it. This is how you patch cousin marriage in your video game, I guess.
Did they?
No, I don't. It doesn't sound like they didn't change it, really. The foundational elements here, all that's still true. And the one line they took out here, it's not like it changes any of that lore. Yeah. It just drops a reference to something that, as the story points out, is already established lore. So that's predating the game. Just dropping that mention doesn't change anything. So, yeah.
I think this is one of the rare Capcom stumbles of this year. They're on a heat Grubb with RE9, Pragmata. I guess incest comes for us all, huh?
Yep.
And here's the thing. I feel like people will latch onto whatever story is available in fighting games because it's so light on most of it, right? Like, we're all very familiar with what has happened in the world of Mortal Kombat. And because the story is a part of that game, but with Street Fighter, it's kind of less so. We're just like, oh, these two dudes kind of do the same moves and they kind of wear the same things, but one wears a headband. Okay, cool. The guy with like the American flag tattoo, he's friends with that guy, but that guy's sad, and then now that guy just like emits electricity, and that guy, incest.
That's his special power. Yeah. So yeah, I'll read this, Chad, if you're freaking out about it. Alex, the line was changed from whatever it was before to now. Alex refers to Tom as, quote, a distant relative of my mom or something, which is hilarious. Not only because it doesn't change or contradict anything from before, as it still confirms the familial relationship between these people, but because calling someone's cousin a distant relative is incredibly disingenuous. Yep.
Wait.
He's embarrassed and he's trying to cover it up.
God, it's okay. It's a little too late. Grubb, it's one of your idioms that I really enjoy, but you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You can't. Yes, absolutely not. Yeah, this one is just going to be how people will think of Alex and at least partially Street Fighter 6 for forever. This is just going to be on this game and now on this series. Even if they try and retcon it in like a couple months to a year, it's just going to stick. Alex can build 1,000 bridges. He fucked one cousin. We're not calling him a bridge builder, is what I'm saying. That's not what we're going to be calling him.
No. He could probably do something heinous in the video games. He could become the primary antagonist.
Yes, he could do a terrorism, and it's not a terrorist. That's the cousin fucker. Come on.
Like, Grubb, unfortunately, some things even from school or high school stick with people. This is going to stick with Alex. And unfortunately, I hate that a byproduct of this, Grubb, is that it's kind of lingering around Kenny Omega.
Yeah, right. He's just walking around with that Alex stank on him now. He did so much work, so much good work on it. It's so
much good work. And Kenny's such the dude, too.
He's a dude. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Well, speaking of wrestlers and Street Fighter exudes visual identity and charisma in its official trailer. This is from Alberto Garrido at Game Reactor. Jan, did you get a chance to check this out this morning?
I have not, Grubb, unfortunately.
All right. I did, and I liked what I saw. I wrote that it reminds me of, like, or it makes me think of what the world would have been like if the original 1990s Super Mario Brothers movie was a massive hit. And like that sort of camp became like the default way to adapt a video game into a movie. This looks campy as hell and like a lot of fun and straight dog shit. Like it looks like dog shit, but I don't care because I'm just like, I love it. It looks so visually weird and interesting. And they have harsh, bright, colorful lighting on so many of the scenes in a way that feels like, yeah, the game is this cartoon come to life and then made 3D. So it's like it always stood in this position between photorealistic and completely stylistic. And the movie is trying to adapt to that sensibility in a way that I find admirable because it doesn't have some huge endless budget, obviously, to accomplish that. So they pick and choose what they're going for. And the answer in a lot of those situations, their idea is what we can do, turn it up to 11. Just go all the way off the charts, no middle sliders, the movie, and I'm into it.
I am scanning through the trailer now, and yeah, Grubb, you kind of nailed it with the vibe of this movie. It looks stupid, but
it looks stupid.
It's not a bad thing, right? Like
it's interesting.
Yes, and I feel like we're in such an interesting place with movie adaptations of video games, Grubb. Where I forget the name of the game. Apologies, folks at home. Is it Exit 8?
Yeah, Exit 8. Yeah,
Exit 8 is like is doing incredibly well critically. Fans of the game really enjoy it, but also we're in a place where the Sonic movies are some of the biggest grossing movies now, and has changed Sonic's trajectory now. And you know, Mario doing incredibly well despite the movies kind of be middling and a little too loud for Jeff Bakalar, but that's okay.
That's okay.
And then we also have like the Five Nights movies, right? We're at a second one, and they are probably going to make a third one because those do so well with those the audience of those games. I hope this does well. I don't think it's going to do critically well, but I hope this does well because this is going to remind people of the campiness of like you said, the original Super Mario live action movie and the Mortal Kombat movie, because I can't shake that from my head seeing this.
Yeah. I get, like someone chat said, like, camp is good, force camp, we'll see. And it's like, yeah, look, I think some people involved might be forcing the camp. I don't think anyone on the cast thinks they're doing anything but the coolest shit anyone's ever done. They all look so proud of themselves, and that's great. That's awesome. Not judging them other than to say it's not that cool and it kind of looks really dumb. And I love that you are just still going for it and acting like your shit don't stink, because that has such a strong contrast in the sort of spirit of the movie, and it comes through.
I forgot 50 Cent is in this movie.
I think that might be like what really set me over. It's like he's just being 50 Cent with a really weird headpiece to make him have the Balrog hair or whatever. Yeah, it's great.
They're gonna make M. Bison a doofus, aren't they?
Yeah, it's what's his name? I can never remember how to say his name, but Polka Dot Man.
Dot Man from Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's a shot of like Guile in full costume sitting next to the Andrew Koji who plays Ryu in a hoodie at a club.
Yep. Yep. And that's Cody is Guile, and his hair, they just do the hair, and it's the hair from the game. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're not cowards, even like that original campy Street Fighter movie, which is also kind of great, a really good time. So I look, we're getting the Mario movies. They're making a ton of money, and I do think that there is something, a little bit of the lost art of the weird adaptation that movie completely sands away. And fine, whatever. I still have a good time with those Mario movies. I'm glad we get these as well. I think it's going to be a good time.
100%.
All right. Hades 2 is out this week on PS5 and Xbox. The Xbox doesn't have enough reviews yet to get a Metacritic, but the PS5 version being very well received, 93 on Metacritic for that version right now. People can check that out. And then right as the show was going live, let's see here, the Neo Geo. I think it's the the Neo Geo AES Plus was announced. They're going to release this thing November 12th. It is kind of a all-in-one way to play Neo Geo games, but I think you can even use the arcade boards in here. Is that how that works, chat? I remember seeing this and not having enough time to check things out. But it's well priced. It's only like $250 for the all-in pack. I think you can get the one with the arcade stick for even less than that. Oh no, I'm sorry, that is just the arcade stick. So this is from PlayOn, which is Embracer, which is kind of weird. But hey, I will probably be looking into this thing. Never really had much experience using anything Neo Geo, like in terms of shoot hardware. So would really like to check this out. Okay, it does the old 8-home AES carts. Those are often pretty expensive, right? So that might be a little bit challenging if that's the way to do it. But I bet there's ways around that. And it is not an FPGA thing. Interesting. I wonder, is it just an emulator box? Because if that's the case, that's a little bit less exciting. All right. Well, I'll look into this more. We'll bring it to tomorrow's stories and really cover exactly what's going on here. It's Thursday. It's not time for the Bomb 12, everybody, but you do have one more day to put your game in for the Bomb 12. So go to giantbomb.com, hit the vote here tab. Plenty of respondents so far. But let's get as much of a response as we can. We'll do that tomorrow. So for now, let's switch over to the poll question from yesterday. I have the results right over here. I'm going to refresh. Let's see there. All right. Are you excited? No, I'm sorry. Are you getting Forza Horizon 6 in May? Your options were yes, no, I'll get it later, and no, I'll wait for the PS5 release. 43% said just straight up no. Then 27% said yes, they're going to get it in May. 16% says no, I'll wait for the PS5 release. And 15% say no, I'll get it later. We know this is a massively successful series. So I wonder if that's, predictive of, this is also going to shoot out of the gate really strong, or if there's a chance people are a little bit tired of Forza Horizon. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say.
We were talking about Rockstar and their positioning. I believe it was on the Bombcast this week, Grubb. And I completely forgot that Midnight Club was a Rockstar Jimmy Jam.
Yep.
People love cars. People love driving, especially in games. It's too expensive to shoot drive now, Grubb. So people just looking for that escapism, and Forza Horizon specifically has definitely been delivering on that. That I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been more of an effort from the AAA side to make more driving games.
Yeah, I was just actually like craving this so bad that I'm like, I kind of want to play the Crew Motorfest, which I know Mike really liked. I'm like, I might go do that. Although Forza 6, Horizon 6 is out next month, so it's not like it's that much of a wait for the one that's going to take place in Japan, which is a region I really want to play in that game. So yeah,
I will occasionally think about, and I would never use it. It'd be the stupidest expenditure of my money, which I probably should be more mindful of. But I occasionally just want a racing wheel, Grubb.
I know, yeah. I mean, look, we can reach out to like Logitech and see if they have anything new.
It's either
that way to do it,
or like one of those Guitar Hero Rock Band guitars.
I did Kickstarter back a new kind of high end DDR pad, and I can't wait for that to get here.
Oh.
That's what I'll be spending my time doing is dancing.
Grubb,
I gotta
you deserve it.
Chat. Thank you, Jan. That's what I'm trying. That's all I need people to say is I deserve to dance. All right. New poll question. Are you excited about the Street Fighter movie? Yes, no. We'll talk about that here on Giant Bomb on Game Best Mornings tomorrow. Speaking of Giant Bomb, Jan, it's Thursday. We're going to have voicemail dump truck. Anything else we should tell the people?
For premium members out there, the hottest dating show, Marry Me Tomodachi, is going to be popping off later today, this afternoon. And folks at home, if you're looking for something to watch in between the dump truck and Marry Me Tomodachi, the Tomodachi Life Living the Dream quick look, as well as the Pragmata quick look, are now up on the site. Both very good quick looks. And also tomorrow, Grubb, on top of UPF, we're going to be playing Scam Lines with our friend Bailey Myers. You are going to be doing a launch look of your own with Grubb Mata.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it. People in chat are saying, hey, Grubb, did you cancel your dance sub for Just Dance? And it's illegal for you to ask me that. You're not allowed. Shut up.
Yes. Also, if someone can guide me through
that.
the process of canceling your Paramount Plus subscription, please.
All right. Let's see. We did the new poll question. We told people what's happening. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing Grubb Mata. Everyone just seems to love it, and I bet it's going to be my shit at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Learning about your taste in games, Grubb, and what you like and the stories that do resonate with you, I don't want to gas you up too much. I do think you will enjoy Pragmata.
Okay. Yes, I'm looking forward to it is what I'll say. So, yep, we'll be starting that Friday evening, tomorrow evening, everybody. So let's wrap this show up and get on to the rest of the week. Jan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's the only way to start a Thursday, Grubb.
Thank you all for watching and listening. You are the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Gucci, Gucci, goo. We're tickling you today. Bye.